Learn more on nutrition. Learn how to cook healthier meals.
What's up, Mount Zion? I'm Chef Isaiah. I want to invite you out to our Mount Zion Church Fit Nutrition and Cooking class. That's where I'll come in and show you how to make the best meals out of 5 ingredients. Simple and easy, sure to satisfy.
This is Deborah Walker, registered dietitian nutritionist, and I'm here to work with you teaching the nutrition classes. Come on out, because we want you to learn how to eat the healthy way. We want to create a new you this year.
These classes will be offered for free at our OHB and Antioch location. Check our website at mountzionNashville.org for the weekly time and location changes.
Listen, I am excited about this series of Church Fit because we're going to do some things bigger and better, and we're going to connect some dots even more so this year. So just hold on tight and be ready to see what the end will be. But before we get started, you notice we have an empty seat right here, right? So I picked somebody to sit in this seat so they can testify and say they were cooking for real. You gotta have somebody to testify for you, right? Sometimes you do. So I picked this nice lady with the pink pants on and the pink scarves. Y'all give her a hand, come on, come on. All right, so listen, tonight, if you have a recipe in front of you, of course we had to do some makeshift work to get us ready to go, which is fine. We're able to do it. So tonight, we're talking about the soul of your food. With that recipe, it's real simple. It's chicken stock. Now, somebody might be saying, why in the world would he just give us a recipe for chicken stock? Well, that's a good question. I'm going to answer it. The reason why most people aren't successful in dieting is because the first thing is diet is not what you do, it's how you eat. Always remember that. Somebody asks you, say, diet is how I eat, it's not what I do. Because think about it like this, your diet is up and down. Today you might have done good eating carrots, celery, and all that healthy stuff, right? Then tomorrow morning, you're not even all the way out the bed. You can smell grits, eggs, and bacon, right? So you shift your diet. So think about it. If diet is just generally left to exercising, come on, you see why you breaking down? One day you going hard in the paint. The next day you ain't studying the paint. You're like, I'm not finna do this. So tonight we're gonna give you some basics. The things we're gonna talk about tonight will give you a good springboard. So when you get ready to cook, it's not so cumbersome. You're not like, man, I already had to go pick up the kids. I got to do this, then get home and get myself ready. Now I got to cook. No, we finna eat Popeyes. How many of y'all done that? Raise it.
Let's be honest.
Everybody raise your hand. It may not be Popeyes. You might be a Church's person or KFC. But at any rate, we're going to do something real simple. Right now, does everybody smell that smell in the air? You smell that smell? I was toasting some peppercorns. Peppercorns are the raw product where you get black pepper from. There are different variations. They're black, they're red, they're whites. Here's the thing. Remember this. If they're colored, they're hotter. Always remember that. So, but tonight we're going to use black peppercorns, the whole corn. And then with that, I also toasted some celery seeds. The reason why these are important in making the chicken stock is because it gives it more depth of flavor. Chicken stock is one of those things that, well, let me start by this. How many of you have chicken bouillon cubes in your cabinet at home? When I was a kid, I thought that was candy. We would get it and eat it and be like, this is some nasty candy. Yeah. How do you get chicken into a cube? How do you do that? Is that really chicken? Think about that. So the thing tonight, we're going to show you how to make this chicken stock because you can do so many things with chicken stock. You can cook rice in it. You can cook grits in it. You can cook pasta in it. You could add it to If you're trying to make chicken and rice, is so many things. If you want to cook a pot of beans, if you want to start greens, chicken stock is very essential. That's a key part of the soul of your food. So tonight, I'm finna make a quick chicken stock. By the time we end tonight, I'm gonna make a chicken stock and chicken noodle stew. Hold me to it. Start the clock now. Y'all ready? Yes. Let's go. So, right now in front of me, simple whole chicken, nothing fancy. I cut the chicken up right before y'all came, didn't I?
Yes.
Are you paying attention?
I am.
Okay. I cut the chicken up. How many of you can cut up a chicken? All right, good deal. I got all the parts of the chicken here because this is the thing. There's flavor in every part of this chicken. Now, on your recipe, it calls for this. Everybody see this? This is the carcass of the chicken. There's still a lot of meat on it. And it says, you know, of course it says to wash it. The only reason why it's telling you to wash it, because generally it may be some points where it bleeds out. That lets you know how fresh your chicken is. If your chicken doesn't have no little red specks on it, you might want to throw that chicken out, okay? So when you wash it, you want to dry it, little salt and pepper, throw it in the oven and roast the bones. When you roast the bones, it creates more flavor while you're making the chicken stock. But we're not going to do that tonight. I'm going to cheat a little and show you a quick way. So what I'm going to do, I got my pan heating over here, simple olive oil. And I'm just going to sear this chicken and put a little color on it. And then we're going to get this stock going, okay? So, you know, I'm going to start with the breast. Now, if you notice, I didn't put any seasoning on this chicken. None at all. The reason why I didn't season it is because of the celery. How many of you knew that celery is a natural salt? Celery is a natural salt. So if you ever cook anything with celery and then you season it, then you're like, man, that's salty, because you added more salt on top of salt. Any root vegetable that grows in the ground has a salt component, because the ground in every area of the world has an element of salt in it. So always remember that when you're using things like celery. And as we boil this, the celery is going to release its natural salt into this stock. And so then it's a mellow flavor. If I wanted to add more salt afterwards, we can do that. But it's all about, I just want to get the base part down. I just want to get it started so I can have something to work with. So I'm not trying to cook it done. Now, while that chicken is going, I'm gonna do a little chopping. Now, I'm a little old school, but it's cool if you do this. If you don't have time to get fresh carrots and peel them and dice them up, don't do it, right? Go to the freezer section. Get you a nice bag with that green guy on it. Always keep in your freezer carrots, fresh peas, corn, any kind of bean or legume, because that is something that you can make a meal very quick, fast, and hurry. If you want to do a quick stir fry, add it with some rice, some pasta, it only takes a few minutes, and you can't really cook the nutrients out of it because it's flash frozen. So it's flash frozen. What that means is they spread, after it's washed, it's spread it out on big sheets. They run it through this freezer. It drops, it's like 30 below zero. It freezes it instantly, so it locks in the flavor at its optimal point. Always keep those staples in your cabinet. I would always go for frozen over canned. Canned items are gonna have sodium in it. Sodium is a preservative. So you think about this. If you're making a meal and you're cooking with 55 different canned goods, think about all the salt you're adding. Then you're gonna get the salt, and think about that. So with this, you know, I'm gonna show y'all a fancy cut. Are y'all ready? It's real fancy. Y'all ready for this? Remember, we're boiling this. It's not about being pretty right now. That's all we need to do. I just want to get it in the pot. That's all I want to do right now. So I'm going to go into my stock pot with the chicken. You see just a little color on it. It doesn't have to be super golden brown like me. That was a joke. Because we want it to boil apart. We want to take advantage of that so we can add the meat into the soup that we're going to do.
It's important also when you choose your poultry products, make sure that they are naturally, no preservatives are included, no hormones have been injected into the poultry. That's so important for you to look for cleaner labels when you're selecting your meats and any other foods that you might decide to select.
And that is very true. Always look at that, because it's over 6 billion people in the world. Chickens don't grow that fast. You know, tomatoes don't grow that fast. It has to be done some kind of way. So always think about that. Even with the onions, guys, if you notice, I'm keeping the paper on. I'm just going to add all this into the stock. Now, if you notice over here, we have this table. On this table are some gadgets that Deborah and I think will be very, very cool for you to have. I'm old school. I'm a chopping kind of guy. But Deborah's new school, so she's a gadget person. So she's going to tell you about one of the gadgets that she said I should have used for the onion.
This is an excellent chopper. We're not promoting, we're used to purchase things, but I use this quite often because it dices your onions up really fast for you. So instead of going to the frozen food section, if you don't want to do that, then you can use this. And I tell you, it just works perfect, because when you open it up and you place your onion on the chopper, and I'll chop some of those up at a later time so you can actually see how well it does for you. And so you can put them in the Ziploc bag and just throw them in the freezer and you'll have them. And then I have another gadget here that slices, dices, and chops. It's just a matter of you putting them in the circular part and just hitting it down. And you have French fries, or you have diced tomatoes. You'll have the sweet potato fries that you can make out of this. Spread it on your pan with just a little olive oil and bake them in the oven. The same thing you can do with your baked potato. And then this is an apple slicer, and it just, you know how you get the sliced apples at McDonald's for your children, and they are so expensive. This is a cutter that you can use, and you just center your apple and just put it on there, chop it down, and pours it for you. And just an excellent way for you to store that. And you can pour a little of lemon juice and put that over it, and it really helps to preserve the apple throughout the day. I take apples a lot for work every day. And then I have here the steamer. A lot of times when you're working with root vegetables, you boil them to death. And so what you can do is steam them. And this is a steam basket that opens up. You cut up your potatoes and your carrots, and just put them on the steam basket and set it down. Just a little bit of water in your pan, and it steams it just really quickly. And then you have your shredder over here, your grater and your shredder for carrots, if you want to just grate those up. And so these are all things that you want to have in your kitchen that's workable and usable. And for those of us who have such a busy lifestyle, it makes it so easy for you to cut and store and have things that are already ready, so you can combine different foods as soon as you come in, as Isaiah was saying earlier. And then we want to make sure everybody's staying hydrated. Keep your bottles filled with water as often as possible. It's important for you to have a water bottle with you at all times, and just stay hydrated. So whatever your favorite water bottle is, always have it with you.
Oh man, see, Deborah's always got the good gadgets. Now I like certain gadgets, but I'm a chop. So listen, while Deborah was talking, I added the onions, some celery, and if you notice, I put the root of the celery in. There's flavor in all that stuff because we're gonna boil it, so why throw it away? So I'll add that into it. Now, what I'm gonna add right now, this is dried thyme. On the recipe, you can use fresh thyme. Right now, fresh thyme is very expensive. You're looking at almost $3 for that little pack. Hey, get you a box of dried thyme. It works just the same. Then it adds more flavor to it anyway. So I'm gonna put a nice pinch of that in there. Then last but certainly not least, does everybody know what this is? Bay leaf. Bay leaf comes from the bay tree, popular in the South, especially in Creole cooking. You know, when I was growing up, we had a bay leaf tree in our yard. And you just go out there and pick a bay leaf or whatever we were doing. So a lot of people don't have that now, but always keep you some bay leaves on hand. We added that. Now, this pretty thing, anybody know what this is? Fennel. Who said it? Fennel. Fennel, fennel, fennel. Fennel is indigenous to the Mediterranean. It's not an onion. It's more of like a flower, but the bulb of the fennel is very good for cooking and health purposes. If you have a kid or yourself, you find yourself a little gassy, eat a little piece of fennel, it'll take it away. He needs a little piece right now. So the reason why I'm adding fennel has a licorice flavor. But when you marry it with something like this, it mellows out and it's very good. Now, I saw somebody frown when I said licorice flavor. Now, here's the thing about things that have licorice flavor. Licorice is medicinal. And then it's also, what's the other word? Because Valentine's Day is coming up. What's that word, Deborah? It's a mood setter. Yeah. Also, you're probably more familiar with fennel because if you ever, in Japanese cooking, they have this thing called star anise or anise flavor that's very popular in Asian cooking. Fennel is similar to that in flavor, but it's not the same. So again with this, I'm just going to put it in quarters and we're going to add it to the pot. No salt. So right now I'm just going to add about 4 quarts of water. Does everybody smell that? Mm-hmm. That smells good, doesn't it? So there's different time frames that we can cook this at. If you were in a hurry and you needed this done, like when I get home, I need this ready, get your crock pot out. Add all these ingredients into your crock pot, set it on low, forget about it. By the time you come home, your house is going to smell like food heaven if it was such a place. You can do it that way. Tonight we're doing a quick short version because we don't have time to sit here and let it watch and cook all day. But in the short version, it depends on the chicken. And the reason why it depends on the chicken, if I would have started the chicken completely from raw, it would have been boiling a long time. But since I seared the chicken, then added, that helped the cooking process along. So this will probably be ready in about 20 minutes. Now, it'll have very good flavor, but not as concentrated a flavor as it would be if you put it in your crock pot. Or this is something I would do like on a Saturday morning. When you're getting up, you're cleaning your house, getting your chores done. Start this, set it on low, let it go for about 12 hours. And then once you strain it, it'll be rich and dark, but full of flavor. And then the sky's the limit while you cook. The biggest thing that I try to get people to understand about cooking, because how many of you feel overwhelmed when you get home and got to cook? Some of you are like, I don't even worry about cooking. I just go and stop and get me some. Well, here's the thing. Think about the soul of your food this way. If you would take the time, like when you buy a bag of onions like this, don't just throw them in your onion bowl on the counter or put them in your vegetable drawer. Sometimes just take your time and go ahead and break them down and dice them. That will help you not feel overwhelmed because you're like, man, you know what? Now I got to cut these onions. I don't feel like crying. What did Rachel Ray say do when I'm cutting the onion? You're not going to remember that. But go ahead and dice them. And then something that I bought, Deborah, I got a gadget too. They're called quart cups. I really love these things because they're good for storage, portioning. If you make something like this, you can portion it up. These are 4 quarts. You can get 2 quarts or 1 quart. Put them in your freezer. So when you get ready to cook, you just get it out, pop it out in the pot. You're good to go. That keeps you from thinking, man, this is too much for me to do. Not only that, like keep lemons. Keep lemons. Now, the reason why I always tell people keep lemons on hand, because if you just want to make your family think you've been slaving all day, you'll be surprised what a little lemon juice will do. Lemon juice will like brighten anything up. And they'll be like, man, what did you do? And then you just say, I'm not appreciated enough. I try, you know. Also, this is my favorite brand of noodles. Now I don't work for No Yolks, but this is my favorite brand simply because if you notice, no yolks means cholesterol free. And you want cholesterol free because we got cholesterol in the chicken. So don't increase it. Think about those things. So when you get dried pasta, keep this stuff on hand because even if you didn't want to do all this, if you already made the chicken stock and you had a bag of fresh frozen carrots and peas, you could throw all that in the pot together. Take your shower, get out, bam, dinner done. Think about it. Think about it. So then that way, when you get ready to cook, it cuts that time. What I try to do, I think about 20-minute meals. Now, of course, I'm a chef, so I can cook probably anything pretty fast. But I'm not a chef when I get home. I'm ready to eat. I get upset, I get mad. I'm a diabetic, you know diabetics. My joke with my friends and family, I'm the Incredible Hulk when I get hungry. Especially if my blood sugar drop, it ain't good. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And so when I get home, and I generally work about 16 hours a day, I'm ready to eat. It's easy for me to turn my cob into church of chicken or something. Easy. I'm not gonna even, I don't know, nobody gonna say, oh, I hate that stuff. Okay. Yeah, all right. So, so things like that work. Always keep fresh herbs. Now, this is Italian flat leaf parsley. I'm gonna add this in here in a minute. I'm a regular parsley kind of guy because Italian flat leaf parsley, it has this very, very fresh taste. But when you're doing stuff like this, it blends in and it keeps it on that line of fresh and earthiness, and people are like, man, did you cook? Like, how long have you been cooking this? But when you keep fresh herbs, you garnish your plate and it makes it eye appealing. You eat with your eyes first. So if you look at your food and you like, that don't look good, your appetite shot. Now you're eating because you're hungry. You ain't got a choice. You gonna eat it and rake it out and now you're in the bed dreaming about double cheeseburgers. Have you ever went to bed hungry and upset because you weren't satisfied? If I do that, I promise you, when I get up, I'm eating everything that ain't nailed down. And so what I've learned, I want my food to look good. Now, I am a stick in the mud about that. Make sure your food looks good. Just don't get a plate and throw it down in front of your family and be like, you better be glad for that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So keep these things on hand. Now, with the parsley, I'm going to go ahead and just add it just as it is. Root vegetables like this and the celery, you're going to get the onion flavor, and that smell comes from the wrapper. It's kind of like a banana. A banana doesn't taste like it smells. You ever notice that? Really, what does a banana taste like? You've recorded the smell in your mind. From the peel, oh, that smells good. But when you actually peel the banana, it got a kind of like a little bitter note to it. A little like, ugh. So here's the trick. Like if I was making banana pudding, which we're not making banana pudding. But if I was making banana pudding from scratch, I would take the peels and steep the peels in the heavy cream to get the real banana flavor out. Then I would make the pudding. Make sense? So with the onion, the reason why we keep the peel on, Tatiana's mama, is to bring that extra depth of flavor into the stock. And it's safe. It's safe. But we're not going to eat the peel. We're going to strain it. You wouldn't be able to digest this anyway. So we're going to strain. We're going to pour all this stuff out. The stuff that's left, we're going to trash it anyway, with the exception of the chicken. So it's safe to do that. Now, if you were just dicing this up and you're finna make you some hamburger sauce, or pasta sauce, you better take that peel off. Just saying. Just saying. So she made a good point. She said, because my mama did it. How many of you cook because your mama did it?
And that's what we're going to talk about in
yeah.
nutrition classes.
Can I talk about just a little bit? Yeah. You know I love to talk about it. Let me get a sip of water because I'm finna talk about that. Right now, because the Lord is showing me, right now, somebody is saying he cut that chicken up and left it on the ice and didn't even rinse that chicken off. I hear you. I see you. See, you look at it. I got you. All right. So here it is. Somebody tell me, why would you wash the chicken? Yes, sir. It'll smell good. That's a good point. We want the chicken to smell good. Anybody else? Because remember, my mama, yes, ma'am. She said, get the extra bacteria off. Watch this. You cannot rinse bacteria off raw meat. The only thing that removes bacteria from raw meat is heat. Now, the only time you should wash your meat is if it's sitting in blood. You want to watch that because blood impurities are different from bacteria impurities. They'll get together and they'll make something else on you. But mama always watch the chicken. Why you watch the chicken? My mama watch chicken. Her mama watch chicken. We watch chicken. It's kind of like eating pig feet. How many of y'all like pig feet? Thank you for being honest. Right? So I had my last serving of chitlins last year. I told a friend of mine, this is it. No more chitlins for me. You know, I was telling my family, they was like, why you not eating no chitlins? I was like, we don't have to eat like that no more. This is not Django. We free. We can pick food. But how many of you say, ooh, I don't eat that pork. It messes with my blood pressure? Raise your hand if you say that. All right. So I'm finna explain to you why you say that. Pork is salt cured. And what that means is, in order to get the impurities out of the pig, it has to be submerged in salt. Pigs don't have veins. They have no way to get those things out of their body. So what happens is, back in the day, we didn't rinse the salt off the pig. We just went ahead and ate it just like it was. Sodium increases your risk of hypertension. So you just been blaming it on the pig. It's not the pig's fault altogether. It's the people that processed the pig. How many of you go to the store now and you see that they have uncured bacon? That's the reason why. So you can enjoy bacon without feeling like, Lord, let me take me about 3 lisinoprils. Y'all don't laugh. Y'all know what lisinopril is. You know. So those are the things that we have to do when you alter your diet. You have to start thinking different about the way you see food. Here's a secret. I'm going to tell y'all something. If y'all leave out this room and say Chef Isaiah said it, I'm going to deny it. I hate beets. Oh, I hate them. Oh, I'm about to throw up in my throat a little bit right now. A beet to me is like, just give me a spoon, let me just go digging and get the dirt and eat it. And cilantro, oh, I despise cilantro. Because when I eat it, it tastes like soap. Any of you get that effect when you eat cilantro? Either you like it or it tastes like soap. It's no middle ground in that. Well, but if something is cooked well with the cilantro, I'll eat it. I'll eat it. Beets, if they're fresh beets, like they peeled them and roast them, I'll eat them. I'm not getting that canned beets. When you open it up, smell like wet dirt. I'm not gonna eat that. Don't bring that to me, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. But my diet is composed of things that I really don't enjoy. They're just last on the list, like liver. Whose idea was it to eat liver? You need the iron. You hear Deborah? Deborah said you need the iron, and you're right. I'll just take some Geritol or something. I don't want liver in my mouth. But it is in my diet. It's just at the low end of it. So when you think about, Deborah gave you the sheet about balancing it. That's what it's about. Now, don't put all your favorite foods at the beginning of your diet. You know, don't let, if your food groups are cheesy fried, gravy, and French fries, you need to see me so we can get that worked out. But you want to balance your diet in such a way, and you know, every year the government changes the food pyramid. Every year it's changed. So this is what I tell people. If you have an abundance of leafy greens, raw vegetables, beans, nuts, and grains, let those be in your top 5 points of your diet. Let those be at the very top. Then add in your proteins, kind of side by side. You want to do proteins, carbohydrates, right? And then you do need some foods with fats. You see how that's coming together? Then at the bottom, at the base of it, you want to think about it this way. If the base is wide, that means it has to support me, right? So here's the thing. You can't fill your base in with breads, pastas, things like that. Because what's going to happen? It's kind of like how many of y'all just left Zumba? Hey, Zumba people. Are y'all hungry? Probably done worked off about 600 calories. Somebody gonna go eat 780 calories. And I'm gonna tell you why they're gonna do it, because they're thinking, I already worked out and I'm hungry, shoot. And so next thing you know, you've sucked them back in. Yes, ma'am. I thought you had a question. Any more questions? We're cooking chicken stock. Make sure you get a handout for it. We're talking about the soul of your food. Yes, ma'am. Do what now? What last? The chicken stock, very good question. If you refrigerate it, it can last up to 3 weeks, just in your refrigerator. But if you freeze it, it can last up to 6 months to a year. The chicken stock. And some people, I got a friend, she'll put them in ice trays. Freeze them, make cubes. I think about 4 cubes is a half a cup. Six cubes is a cup. And just put them in Ziploc bags. You're ready to go. There are so many things you can do to make cooking easy. Any more questions? Any more questions? Keep them coming. Don't be scared. Yes, ma'am. 6 cubes of frozen cubes of chicken stock is 1 cup. 4 cubes is a half a cup. Is everybody smelling this chicken stock? Smell good, don't it? I would just drink this like right now. Now what I'm gonna do, always remember this when you're cooking something like this. I'm gonna skim it. And what that is, in the restaurant industry, we're just getting the oil that rises to the top, and the other little things that cook out of the vegetables. We're just getting rid of it. Now, the counter cooling technique came from Mama. As food is mass produced to feed 6 billion people, it's not of the same quality. So if you allow some foods to counter cool, the bacteria activates. Foodborne bacteria doesn't multiply by twos. It goes 2, 4, 6, 8. You get the picture? How many of you ever had food poisoning? Like you're eating the food. 30 minutes later, you blowing. Something wrong. Just that rapid. Here's rule of thumb. Put it in a shallow container, plastic container. Go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. You have a time frame that you have to bring that food down to temp. You want to be able to cool it down within 2 hours. You can't do that if it's in a big aluminum Thanksgiving dressing pan. Portion it up, put it in the refrigerator. Don't put it on the top of the refrigerator, put it on the bottom. Hot air rises, cold air drops. Yes, ma'am. After you eat. After you, before you want it hot before you eat. Yeah, but after you eat, you want to cool that food down. Don't fix your lunch plate, then put the top on it, and then you wake up in the morning, you notice your lunch Tupperware is bowled at the top. Guess what that is? Bacteria. And then you take it to work, and you put it in the microwave, hit heat. Your friend walked by, girl, what that is you cooking? It smells good. And you like, girl, you can get some because it's enough for 2. Just passing the bacteria out. Now, that may not happen all the time because that's going to be based on your immune system and the ability for you to fight that off. But there's a new foodborne pathogen out called the norovirus. The norovirus is salmonella, listeria, and botulism. They all got together and created a little baby. Now, this is the thing about the norovirus. The norovirus is contagious. Once you contract it, you can give it to somebody else. And if you don't fight it off within 3 days, you have a 50-50 survival rate. Y'all can close your mouth, pick it. How many of you have dented cans? How many of you ever used a dented can at home? If a can is dented, throw it away. Don't even chance it. You know, how many of you like processed lunch meat? Come on, raise your hand. Everybody like thick sliced garlic bologna. Come on now, be honest now. Okay, I know what's happening, Deborah. Some of you saying, I don't even buy that stuff. I buy turkey breasts.
It's processed.
It's processed. Then somebody just said, you know what, I don't even buy that. I go to the deli section and they slice my meat. It's processed. Good question. You can still eat it, heat it. Heat it up before you eat it. Don't eat it cold. Don't chance it. Don't chance it. Don't chance it. Listeria is on lunch meat, especially if you're a pregnant lady. You don't want that. You don't want that. No lunch meat really if you're pregnant. Don't even touch it. I know you want that fried bologna sandwich. You curled up just right. Smear mustard. Don't do that, guys. There's so many things, and that may seem a lot, but you think about your health. Excuse me. If you're packing lunch for your kids, and you're thinking about the Lunchables, how many of you like the Lunchables? Now everybody in here ought to rate, because some of y'all got kids, and I've seen you walking through the foyer drinking your kid juice.
Right.
Everybody like a Lunchable every now and then. Every now and then I like a Lunchable. But still think about, I mean, that's not, think of something else, do something else. You know, I can't tell you to cut it completely out, because that's not going to happen. Your schedule may be super, super busy, but can you not let your child eat a Lunchable every day? Not every day. Not every day. I know you put the bologna down on the second shelf with the American crab processed cheese so they can reach it and make the sandwich so they won't bother you, but nah, come on now. Come on. Nice chicken breast, remember? Now we're gonna make this chicken noodle soup real fast. I just want y'all to see that it's done, okay? Is that done?
Yes.
Is that done?
Yes.
Everybody, that's done. No blood, no pink. Y'all know how we are about that raw chicken. Kill your appetite. You'll be immediately talking about, that chicken ain't done. Now you won't eat. So I'm just gonna get the chicken breast out. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna pour the liquid back into the pot. So I'm going to start this back to boil. And while that's doing that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dice up a little bit more vegetables just to make it pretty. Now with the carrot, I'm not peeling the carrot because there's vitamins in the skin. Now I'm not going to try to make it pretty. Some of y'all probably like, oh, he finna chop like a chef. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to cut it in half. Well, I can make it pretty little. This is called an on a bias cut. Now somebody's saying right now, I'm not finna do all that when I get home. I just want my food ready. That's fine. That's fine. But you see that? I mean, that'll look pretty in your bowl. So I'm just gonna add this into the soup. Can you smell that stock? Can everybody smell that? Same with the celery.
Notice how he curls his fingers when he's cutting the celery, so you won't cut your fingertips off and it'll be a part of the chicken stock. So you have to be careful when you're using sharp knives in your kitchen and cutting your vegetables.
Yeah.
I bet that's why I like my gadget.
I see that. And guess what? A cutting board is a good gadget to have. How many of you got cutting boards at home? Yeah. Now, wait a minute. How many of you got the glass cutting board that you thought looked cool? Throw that away. It's not cute.
But you can put it on your counter and sit other stuff on top of it. You don't have to necessarily throw it away. You're not using it. It's just a decoration.
How many of y'all got stuff in your cabinets just for decoration? See it?
Clean my cabinets.
You just, well, look at there. But watch this. When you get things like that, and you're going to be chopping, and you're like, I'm tired of hearing that clanking that knife with that glass. That's going to wear out because you're not going to get a smooth cut. And chances are you're going to cut yourself with that cutting board. I like polyurethane boards because I can soak them in bleach, and it always kills the bacteria. Or get a nice wooden cutting board. Same concept. Don't think about wood. After so many uses, it's going to break on you. So you have to think about that. Knives, don't go to Walmart or Fred's. Well, you could probably go to Big Lots. Big Lots is my favorite store. Remember I told you about the lemon juice, just a little. The reason why you need to get you a good knife set is because you want it to last long and you can actually produce your food better. If you using a steak knife, talking about you peeling potatoes and you know you can just get you a 96-cent potato peeler, you know, the pot sets that come in the box, because they was $25, don't do that. Because the coating in there is going to cook off in your food. How many of you scramble eggs with your fork still? And your non-stick pan got scrapes all the way through it. Where did that non-stick stuff go? You ate it. Stainless steel is the way to go. You can find stainless steel now middle of the road. You can get a good stainless steel pot set for about $80. It's a good investment. It's going to last you a long time. The first thing I'm going to tell you, especially as it relates to the soul of your food, clean out your cabinets of clutter. If you're not using it, throw that stuff away or give it to Goodwill or bless somebody else with it. Because that's overwhelming. Like, how many of you got about 29 Tupperware sets? You can't find none of the lids. Throw that stuff away. Because guess what? That's why you're going to leave it in the pan and put it in the refrigerator in the pan. Because you don't have storage stuff. If you still got a pot lid, I'm not talking about you. I ain't been to your house, but I just know. And the handle gone, and you got to get the towel and. So, think about that stuff, guys. So right now I'm gonna add the noodles to the soup. Excuse me. Now in this bottle, I'm gonna make the soup fancy, right? And the reason why I'm gonna make it fancy is I don't want you to just think about, well, I'm just eating the same old chicken soup. You know, there's so many things you can get to make the soup fancy. Now, y'all gotta do me a favor. Don't leave out here emailing Bishop Walker talking about they was drinking wine in the cooking class. Okay? I did not offer you a drink of wine. However, I am going to just put a splash of white wine into the soup. The alcohol is going to cook off, and it's going to be very aromatic, very, very flavorful, light and refreshing. So while that's going, we're almost finished, guys. I'm going to dice up this chicken. It doesn't have to be pretty. Keep the questions coming.
Yes.
What's your take on waterless cookware?
On what now?
The waterless cookware.
That works really great because it just absorbs and keeps your nutrients inside of your foods instead of going into the water. So it locks it in. Any other questions? Yes.
For 20 minutes? Oh my goodness, yes. So here's a quick 20, I want you to write this down. Write this 20-minute meal down. Write this down. Here are the ingredients. A chicken breast, a third of a cup of rice. Remember I told you to keep the flash frozen peas, carrots, just get whatever you like. Or if you want some broccoli. How many of you have parchment paper at home? All right. Or aluminum foil. All right, aluminum foil. All right. So put your rice down. Third of a cup. Put your rice down. Add your vegetables. Put your chicken breast on there. Season it however you want it. I'm a fan of like no salt seasonings. I like no salt seasonings because the more you cut sodium out of your diet, you will always lose weight. Sodium and sugar. So use things like that. Get you a couple of fresh garlic cloves, dice that up, put that in there. Now you could either get some of the white wine if you're cooking it for you or your significant other, or if it's for your kids, that beautiful chicken stock you made. You want to put enough just to add moisture so it will steam. Seal it up in the aluminum foil. Set your oven to 375 degrees. Slide it in. Set your timer for 20 minutes. Take your shower. Take your fingernail polish off your nails. Read your kids a story. Wash a load of clothes. When that timer goes off for 20 minutes, your meal will be done. You can do that with fish. If you're a beef eater, you can do it with a piece of beef. It's just up to you. Remember I said keep dried pasta on hand. Chicken stock, dried pasta, the fresh veggies. You got a primavera right there, 20 minutes. Pasta takes 9 minutes to cook. Now, if you cooking pasta all together and by the time you get it right here, it disintegrates, you cooking it too long. 9 minutes. So listen, guys. Remember I told you, real quick, easy soup. Now I'm going to finish the soup with this. This is salt. This is called Himalayan pink salt. It's more natural. It's mined in the Himalaya mountains. They pull out these big pink slabs of salt. This is a finishing salt. Notice we didn't put any salt in it while we were cooking because of the celery. But the reason why I'm going to put some in it now is just to lift it up just a little. Not much though. That's it.
When you're selecting salt, make sure you read the label and compare those labels when you're in the grocery store from one salt to another. Because when you look at the iodized salt, most of the time for 1/4 of a cup is 590 milligrams of sodium, and then when you look at Celtic sea salt, it's only about 230 milligrams of sodium. So there is a difference, but it does not compromise the salt flavor. You want to make sure that you're getting a high quality type of salt, and usually the higher the quality, the more the sodium it's going to be showing you on the label.
Soup is done. You can clap for that. Gee. So listen, we invited a guest up to eat with us. And I got some little cups. We'll let everybody taste some. All right. Hold your bowl up here, ma'am.
Oh, it looks delicious.
Get a little bit more.
Thank you.
Deborah.
Oh, it smells so good.
You see how it smells? All right, now let me finish it. Remember I said always garnish your food.
Anytime you're using noodles, just make sure you cook them to al dente, which is just slight tenderness, so that the starch will not come out and make your pasta fall apart and you're overcooking it and change the appearance of your food. This is excellent appearance to his food because everything you can recognize and name exactly what you're eating.
Deborah, she said stop talking, she ready to eat. Yes, ma'am.
I missed what you said about the onion peel. So you use that you keep the peel on the onion.
Yes, I left the peel on the onion because there's a lot of flavor in the peel of the onion.
Only when you like boiling stuff?
Only when you're boiling stuff. Or even if you're roasting the onion, you can leave the peel on. Once you get ready to serve it, take it off. So anybody got any more questions? This is what I'm going to actually do. First of all, give yourselves a hand. Oh, give yourself a better hand than that. Good deal. Give Deborah Walker a hand. I would like a hand. And give our guests a hand. So listen, if you guys get us a line going, and I'll serve you, and then you got any additional questions, we'll be glad to answer them right then. Thank you for coming out to the Church Fit Nutrition and Cooking class. We'll see you next week.